Morning. NothingMan here, and I hope I'm gonna jump on here and make this second video of the morning because I'm feeling a whole lot of stuff today, and my interactions with people this morning already have me feeling a certain sort of way, because I really don't know what that sort of way is, but I gotta go get some firewood. So I figured now would be a good opportunity to put a little video together and maybe stay distracted enough, because my brain is a crazy one. It doesn't work the way that everybody else's does. It seems to go a million miles an hour in 15 different directions at all times. Anyway, I'm hoping this video turns out to be a good one, an enlightened one for myself. But also maybe to give a little bit of insight into my thoughts on people, you know, because here's the deal. This silliness that I woke up to this morning, this decision from the Joe Biden administration to select Dr. Rachel Levine to a national, let's just say a national advisory position. I'm not getting into the right spot here. Is laughable at best. It's laughable. I refuse, okay? I refuse to take the fucking clickbait that you people want to put out there. I mean, it's just pure silliness. You guys want to put out there that it's transgender phobic to have an opinion. And this is the sort of stuff that has caused just about all of our problems in America recently. We're fucking bickering over dumb shit constantly. The issues are never... The issues are never discussed. The real matters at hand are just not discussed because you're too busy bickering about stupid shit. So I think the single most important thing that I can say right now is I just posted something similar on a friend's post about this issue. And he's a bit of an antagonist. God love him. He's a fun guy. I think he's a good dude. And not unlike me, I firmly believe that he's entertained by this silliness. But the issue at hand is that we can't have a discussion about anything without allowing, minuscule, almost meaningless bullshit to take over. So if for the sake of having an opinion, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this mountain that I have to navigate. Anyway, Rachel Levine is not qualified for the job. Period. End of story. She's done a terrible job. I just recognized that I called her she. One of the other comments that I've seen already is that somebody called her an it. I suppose that's inflammatory enough. But that's also part of the reason why, that sort of comment doesn't help anything. My personal opinion is that she's a fucking strange one. I don't understand what goes into the mindset, but it's not for me. I don't understand what goes into the mindset of somebody wanting to change their gender. It is what it is. That's none of my business. I'm more concerned about the fact that she's not qualified, that she's done a terrible fucking job in Pennsylvania. And now, because we can't have this conversation, because we can't have the conversation just based on qualifications, it circles right back around to this, and myself included. My claim is that Joe Biden has made this selection based solely on the fact that she is a transgendered government official. So my argument is what it's always been is that we do not, and the purpose of this video, we do not discuss the issues. We do not discuss the issues at hand. We get sidetracked by dumb shit, and it stays there. And it stays there. And because of that, we now have in America an incoming president who makes selections based on these meaningless issues. You're never going to convince me that there aren't dozens, if not hundreds, of more qualified individuals. And if we can possibly have a discussion about her lack of qualifications or her record, because her record speaks for itself, we can't have that discussion because we're so caught up in dumb shit. But because we can't have that discussion, we've now entered into a time, and it's not new. I mean, it's been happening for decades, but it's now just so it's just so obvious now. Anyway, nobody's willing to point out the obvious because they're afraid of tripping on somebody's feelings. The point is, Rachel Levine's sex life is none of our business. As strange as you may find it to be that her choices to become a female, whatever, man, we live in weird fucking days, but we live in severely medical and technologically advanced days. So if somebody wants to say that they want to be a female, I don't give a shit. We've seen people that want to become aliens or lizards or something. I've seen that stuff too. I find it weird, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they may be very qualified people. This situation is not one of those cases. She is not qualified. So if we can have a discussion someday about the actual topics, the actual issues, that would be nice, because we may start getting into the heads of our politicians. Probably not. We may, what's more likely is that we'd have to actually fight to get in there. I mean, fight to get in there. And then, of course, we'll be called insurrectionists and, how dare you have an opinion. But if we could ever have a discussion based solely on the issues, may be able to wake some people up. You talk about being woke. I don't find anything woke about this country anymore. I find distracted to be the word. Excuse me, I put my gloves on. Maybe if we could have a discussion on the actual issues at hand someday, we could get and make this country a little more sensible. That doesn't seem to be the case. And the longer we argue about dumb shit, the longer we argue about dumb shit, the further we're going to get from any sort of sensibility. I want to go on record for anybody that wants to make me out. Here's the thing, because at the end of the day, I worry more about me. I worry more about, people are going to say, oh, you worry about what people think of you. No, I don't. I really don't. I do. I want them to think fairly. I want to think that I live in a world where intelligence reigns supreme, but that is seriously not the case. I want to make it clear. I don't care about anybody's sexual orientation. I don't care about anybody's choices. I don't care about the color of their skin. I really don't even care about Democrats and Republicans or where you stand on a political spectrum. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is whether or not you're willing, whether you're a regular peon like me or somebody in a position of authority. And even when I say a position of authority, I mean, a supervisor at work, because your choices, anytime you hold a position of authority, your choices affect other people. So what I care more about than any of that other stuff I just mentioned is whether or not you're capable of having an informed opinion, without any of those silly, without any of that silliness that I mentioned earlier. I mean, if you can't, I mean, I'll go on record right now because I know that I've got friends. That's another thing I'm sure doesn't come as a surprise. I mean, my mother's been giving me hell about this my whole life. You know, people do worry about, well, you kind of are who you surround yourself with. Well, there is a certain amount of truth to that if you let it. I've got friends who are racist, who have been extremely racist, and I've tried to talk to them and say things. I've had, you know, to just have intelligent conversation. I gotta be honest. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% without my own racial prejudice, but I do still pride myself on the ability to treat each individual as a single entity. You know, just because I've seen some things that are not becoming of the black community, or not becoming of the homosexual community, or not becoming of any particular demographic that has been a hot topic in politics. None of that really, in the grand scheme of things, matters as long as you can keep yourself policed and be a half-decent human being, which is, again, what I'm contesting here. We're not even, as by and large, as a population in America, I don't believe that we are keeping ourselves in check. Because if we were, we'd be able to recognize that every time one of these issues come up, we get distracted by dumb shit. Getting back, there's really no point. There's really no point. Like, there's, like, I wanted to, what sparked this was the issue with Rachel Levine, with Joe Biden. I contest. My opinion is that his decision was based on the bullshit, and we ain't any fucking better. We can support the decision, or we can condemn the decision. We can support it. We can, stand in opposition of it. What would be nice is if we could have that conversation based on actual facts, on the validity of the matter. But we can't, because we live in a left-right world, and it's sick. It's sickening. And I'm getting to the point now where, man, I really want to be, I want to be me. I want to be fair to people. I want to think, but it's so hard. And God bless his soul, the man that I was having a brief moment with, who took it upon himself to rather than stick to the issues. I didn't stick to the issues either. So, I mean, I'm guilty. But I forgot where I was going with that. Again, my busy brain, sorry. Anyway, I just want to, I don't know I don't know my feelings lately. And maybe the only reason I'm making this video is to see if there are other people out there that think and feel like I do right now, because, ooh, this is going to be avalanche. Whoa, yep. Okay. I want to see if there's other people out there that think and feel like I do, because I'm fucking, some days I feel like I'm losing it, man. We can't be, it's hard to be true to yourself. It's hard to hold yourself to a standard when so few people do. My standard is really that of decency. I'd like to be decent to people, but man, it's hard. Because sometimes you just want to look at somebody and go, shut up. You're fucking stupid. Where's that going to get you? I think we've all had that, and I wouldn't really slam somebody too hard for that if they happen to fall into that from time to time. Hopefully just time to time. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this video or not, because I recognize that I'm all over the place, but I think it's worthwhile trying to do this video, because my appeal to people, what I'm trying to do right now, I think, with NothingMan, is, as always, just be a normal human being. Put myself out there for criticism as I've gotten, openly and behind the veil of my secret admirer behind the veil of secrecy, just for whatever security he needed to feel for that. But I don't care. I don't care if people criticize me, if they don't like what I have to say. That's cool, fine. I would just merely suggest that hopefully we could have discussion on that, or maybe not. Maybe just hey, you're an asshole. Move on. Okay, cool. That doesn't bother me either. A little bit. I think it bothers all of us a little bit, but really, in the grand scheme of things, not that much. But I think my appeal to people is just like, man, it's okay to lose your fucking mind for a minute. You know, it's okay to feel crazy, because I do. I feel fucking nuts some days. And this is definitely one of them, because, you know, as much as I'd like to just move on and just see this silliness and this craziness stop, I don't think it's gonna. I think we're gonna have, I think it's easy to say we're going to have 4 more years of it, because, I mean, we can kind of see what's happening already. But it's not just 4 years, you know. And, I mean, there's people out there that are saying that the last 4 years were crap, you know. And I wouldn't want to take that away from them, let them have their opinion as well. I mean, I don't think it was 100%. That's another thing I want to address, just for the record, just clearly for the record. I'm not a fucking Trump guy either, guys. I've been a registered independent my whole life. I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't even really know what that means, to be a registered independent. I know it means that I'm, you know, not afforded the same voting opportunities that other people are that want to abide by the two-party system. But what I hope that it means is that it stands out as being hey, I'm not going to support you just because of your political label. I don't think Trump is a Republican. I think Trump's an interesting fella. I think his intentions were good. You know, I think he is definitely an imperfect person, as all of us are. But just please, I guess that's the thing there, is just please stop. Please stop. If you want to have intellectual conversation with me, stop fucking painting me with your brush, with your popular media-fed bullshit brush, because you're not going to be accurate. And if I can make an appeal to people to kind of be this way, to be the same way that I am. I mean, like I said, some days I don't feel sane. Some days I feel like I don't belong here. I don't fit. Because it just makes that little sense to look at the world that we live in. But how about standing outside of the spectrum? How about standing on your own and saying, you know, recognizing that each and everything you do is a representation of yourself. And I'll be the first one to admit that not every single representation of myself has been what I'd be proud of. But that's the standard of accountability that I hold myself to, so that I will hopefully get better. So this idea that was brought up today about me being a flip-flopper, as I responded, I feel like that it's more of a process for me. Sometimes I get caught up, but if I make a change, it's because of something else that I've seen or experienced or learned, or sometimes just feel. But the one thing that I really wish, the one standard of accountability that I try to hold on to, and I do feel bad about it. There's a couple people out there that I've had less than pleasant exchanges with that I have always, whether they accept it or not, went back and apologized for, can attest to it, that that is my standard of accountability. Human fucking decency. And there's so little of it. And if people really want to fucking see what the problem is in this country right now, that's it. That is what the problem is in this country, is that there is no standards. People do not hold themselves to a standard of common fucking decency. Why can't we just disagree? Why can't we, why can't we, I can talk about 100 things right now, just off the top of my head, that politically, and, because I do stand a little bit further on the conservative side of things, I don't like some of the changes. I understand why some of the changes. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the bottom line I'm trying to get to, and then I'm going to end this video because I want to get this thing. I want to get this wood loaded up. But human decency, just fucking be, just be good to one another. I keep saying that, and I know that it seems like hyperbole or whatever, hyperbole or whatever, however you want to pronounce that word. It's not. For me, that's it. It's like, first and foremost, why can't we be decent to one another? And the answer to that, the reason why we can't be decent to one another is because there's so few of us willing to hold ourselves to the standard of fucking decency. So that is what that's my message for today. I'm going to end it, but that's my message for today. If you can't fucking be decent, I mean, I'm always going to try, but you can't be surprised when somebody comes back at you. And once that starts happening, I mean, we can point fingers and say, well, he started it. Once that starts happening, you've already fucking lost. So given the shape of this country, can we at least agree that a little bit of fucking decency, a little bit of common courtesy would go a long way towards maybe, possibly unfucking this nation?